Begin. Let's welcome Dr. Paul Warbeck, Dean of Columbian College of Arts and Science, also the Director of GW Confucius Institute, to the stage.
Good afternoon. I'm Paul Warbeck, Interim Dean of the Columbian College of Arts and Sciences at the George Washington University. I'm also serving as Director of the Confucius Institute. It's my pleasure today to host this event for our friends, our faculty, and our students from the greater DC community, including guests from the Chinese Embassy and the U.S.-China Strong Foundation. I want to thank the amazing Beijing opera performers who have traveled from different places in the U.S. to gather on the GW campus to share their talents with us this afternoon. It's one of my great pleasures in this job to have the opportunity to enjoy an array of cross-cultural programming presented by the GW Confucius Institute. I'd like to thank the DC Beauty of Beijing Opera for their long-term dedication to promote the Beijing Opera as an art form. I want to give special thanks to Ms. Louisa Wang, the founder and president of the DC Beauty of Beijing Opera, for her organizational effort to make this performance possible. And a special thanks to all the staff and students, ambassadors from the GW Confucius Institute who worked so hard to put this event together. I understand that they've been working on this event for the past year. The GW Confucius Institute is about bringing two cultures together. And events like this remind me of the central role global experience and education plays at GW. I also want to thank the GW Textile Museum for lending us some Chinese imperial period garments for display as part of the joint educational effort. It's through these partnerships and through the joint efforts of the students, faculty, and friends here today that together we continue to offer a celebration of shared vision and values to the GW family and the Washington, D.C. community. This impressive turnout on a rainy afternoon is an indication of our commitment to global studies and the value we, as an academic community, place on cultural exchange. Tomorrow is the Mid-Autumn Festival. This holiday is all about family, friendship, and harmony. And I'm glad that we can have faculty, students, and friends join us at this performance so we can share the joy with all of you. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you, Dean Warbeck. Now let's welcome Ms. Louisa Huang, the founder and president of DC Beauty of Beijing Opera Company, to the stage and give a presentation.
Thank you, Paul. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming here. 1,000 years ago, in the China's Song Dynasty, Princess Chai fell in love with General Yang, who saved her life in the battlefield. However, because of her gender and because she was a member of the royal family, the princess was culturally prohibited to express her emotion freely and was subjected to an arranged marriage. Nonetheless, just like Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre in the classic English literature, Princess Chai was determined to pursue her own happiness in spite of all the social barriers. She granted her portrait to the general and asked him to present it to the emperor, indicating that the general was chosen as her royal husband. Later, with the help of best scholar of the country and with the princess' own wisdom and persistence, the two lovebirds got happily married in the end. 1,000 years later, a modern Chinese girl realized her dream of being a princess through performing Beijing opera on the Beijing Opera stage. The Beijing Opera costumes are designed to incorporate cultural elements to the extent possible, so the audience would recognize the character's identity immediately when she appeared on the stage. Look at this picture. The character wears a crown with phoenix figures, which could only be used by high-ranking royal family members, female royal family members. Her dress color is bright yellow and red, indicating her noble status and auspicious feature of the story. Look at her hands. She wears long water sleeves covering her hands, with only her fingertips exposed gracefully like a blooming magnolia, indicating her feminine and noble status. Who is she? This modern Chinese girl is me, Louisa Huang. Do you recognize me? Beijing Opera is the culmination of various theater forms that were prevailing in ancient China in its long history. As a UNESCO-registered intangible cultural heritage of humanity, Beijing Opera came into being in the late 18th century, the same period when the United States of America acquired its independence. When the Emperor Qianlong of the China's Qing dynasty celebrated his 80th birthday, a performing troupe sponsored by Huiban or Anhui merchant in eastern China came to the nation's capital city of Beijing to perform and pay tribute to the emperor. That marked the official recognition of this beautiful art form. And guess what? That was in the same period when General George Washington became the first president of the United States. Given where we're having this performance now, I'm sure you're very familiar with who is General George Washington and who can calculate the age of Beijing Opera. Through innovation and creativity, Beijing Opera became fully developed in the 19th century and became a national treasure. At the beginning, the male performers are the only one who perform all the character types because women, their social and family status was so low. This situation started to change in the beginning of the 20th century. Even then, the male performers continue to be highly popular in the Beijing Opera stage until about 40 to 50 years later. Dr. Meilan Fang, the picture is here, is widely considered as a Beijing Opera icon by professional circles and generations of audiences. He has successfully portrayed many unforgettable female characters on the Beijing Opera stage, such as this one, the Drunken Beauty, and opened the door for Westerners to appreciate this Oriental art. For example, in the 1930s, Dr. Meilan Fang visited the US and performed in New York City. His performance was such a great success that the performance venue had to be relocated from the 49th Street Theater to a much larger national theater, and his tour was extended from 2 weeks to 5 weeks. Later today, you're going to see a recreation of Drunken Beauty by DCBBO member Xingse Yang, that to prove that the Drunken Beauty itself stands the test of time. Xingse Yang is also a GW alumni, so stay tuned. In the rest of the 20th century, Beijing Opera continued to interact with the Western culture. For example, Bertolt Brecht, the picture here, he was one of the most influential German dramatists in the 20th century. He met Meilan Fang in the 1930s, and then immediately he claimed that Beijing Opera aesthetics as an argument of his own theory and practice of theater, the distancing effect. Indeed, when on stage, Beijing Opera performers, we use our unique techniques or performance convention to address to the audience from time to time, so that you are not completely get lost in the narratives, but become a conscious and critical observer. Another example is Yves Saint Laurent. He was a French designer and fashion icon. He applied the Beijing Opera costume patterns in many of his design work, and particularly in his expos in the 1970s and 80s. So, what has made Beijing Opera so attractive to people from different nationalities? What you are going to see, to hear, and to learn during a typical Beijing Opera performance. Beijing Opera has 4 character types: Sheng, Dan, Jing, Chou, male role, female role, painted face role, and clown role. A performer must acquire 4 basic skills: 唱, 念, 做, 打, singing, recitation, dancing, and combat. Each character type has many subtypes, but as long as you have acquired the performance convention of that subtype, you can perform that role regardless of gender or age. Let's look at some pictures. These are some subtypes of the sheng role, the male role. To your left-hand side is xiao sheng, young male role. He is Princess Chai's younger brother. Any guess of the performance age? 20 to 30? 50. In fact, the performer was 68 years old. To your right-hand side is Lao Sheng, adult male role. Of course, the character has long beard to exaggerate. But do you recognize it was performed by a young lady who was in his late 20s? And the middle one is Wu Sheng, martial male role, who has a lot of combat skills. Today, the performer is going to appear on the stage. These are some of the subtypes of the ban role, the female role. To your left-hand side is called Qing Yi. It's elegant female role. It's the a retired general, Mu Guiying, who is hesitating about whether to come back to the battlefield to take the commands or not. To your right-hand side is Wu Dan, martial female role. The warrior Hu Sanniang, who is fully equipped and skillful to combat with any invaders of her hometown. The middle one is Hua Shan, a combination of the elegant female role and martial female role and playful female role. Lady Yu Ji, who danced last for his king, the husband, before a fatal battle. Today you're going to see the highlights of these three shows by Sarah Xie, Mei Wang, and Shi Yingzhang. By the way, Sarah Xie is also a GW alumni. You see, I'm very careful selecting who's going to perform here. And these are the Jing and the Chou, painted face role and the clown role. It is the Imperial Guard, one of them, and a funny mayor. And these are the supporting roles. Due to the stage limitation, I didn't bring any supporting roles today. So they help with the transition of the stories and the scenes. Second, the Beijing Opera stage is sparse. Look at this. We usually only have one table, 2 chairs, and today even we only have 1 chair. Depending on how a performer interacts with this the object, a table could be a bed and a chair could be a hill. This makes the Beijing Opera's troops highly mobile. We can go anywhere with only very, very little carry on with us. Consistent with the Chinese traditional, other traditional arts and value, Beijing Opera focuses on meaning rather than accuracy. Unlike Stanislavski, the Russian dramatist who is famous for his imitation theory, Beijing Opera focuses on meaning rather than accuracy, does not aim to accurately represent the reality. Many behaviors deal with many performers deal with the behaviors in daily life. However, according to the overriding principle of beauty, such behaviors are stylized on the Beijing Opera stage. For example, riding a horse. You're not going to see a real horse or fake horse on the Beijing Opera stage. Only the horse whips here. We use that to whip and to demonstrate we have a horse and mounted on that. And a girl is about to getting ready to go out of the door. There's not going to be any door. What she would normally do, right? A girl is getting ready, so she's going to check her makeup first. Am I pretty? I'm going to check whether I have a tangled hair. Do I need to run another brush? I need to straighten my outfit. I'm going to put on my shoes. Okay, everything's ready. I tell the audience the door is there, so I'm going to go out. But how do I demonstrate the door is here? I put my hand on the door frame, lift my heels. Now I'm outside the door. That's the convention. So this is the convention. Another one is, let's look at this one. This is 1 hour of costumes. Look at this. What's this? Are these cleaning clothes? This This is not cleaning clothes. It's called water sleeves. Without modern technology to magnify the character's facial expression on the bigger screen like this, we use the water sleeves to magnify the performance emotion. For example, I'm sad. I'm sad, okay? I'm upset. Okay, so that's help you. And now I'm so happy, I'm joyful. I'm very joyful, okay? So this is one, the costumes. Another attraction, visual attraction of Beijing Opera is, of course, you have noticed, the makeup. For example, this is the painted face. We have about 15 basic designs for the painted face and 1,000 variations. The patterns and coloring reveal the character's personality to the audience immediately. For example, we have red, which stands for loyalty, and black stands for integrity, and white for treachery. Later today, you're going to see the Monkey King. Monkey King is a combination of many character types in the Beijing Opera, a very special one. It is a combination of the clown role, the painted face role, and also the adult male role and martial role. If you're not familiar with the Monkey King, be ready to be blown away this afternoon. Because it's a character, it's a trickster character in the from the Chinese folklore and classical literature. And I can say it's a combination of Robin Hood, of Superman, Zorro, and Charlie Chaplin. So it's going to be performed by Master Zhu Chushan and Li Sizhu. Likewise, female roles done also spend a lot of time in the makeup room, like what they're doing now. So they paint black lines and rouge in the eye area, lift their eyebrows like this, and use the hair pad to change the face shape, and also place layers of ornaments. The whole process will take how long? Any guess?
4 hours.
2 hours.
Do you know when we are here? I started here at 10 o'clock. So they're still doing the makeup, but it's worth it. So later today, you're going to see Master Qin Xueling's performance of a teenager girl. And this is the fully costumed her, but stay tuned for that. So in addition to the visual attraction, Beijing Opera's one of the characteristics is also the hearing part. With only a few singing and music patterns, almost anyone can sing the arias themselves. Of course, the overriding principle is pleasing to the ear. You need to build a character when you are singing. You need to tell a story when you sing. You need to express emotion when you sing. High pitch is a very positive aesthetic value in Beijing Opera. So a singer would pitch the song at the very top of the vocal range. However, according to the overriding principle of beauty, your voice could be high but not sharp, could be low but not weak. In the Western opera, you will see that singers could be grouped like soprano, alto, and tenor. Beijing Opera singers use both original voices and their falsetto, depending on which roles you're playing. So their octave is really flexible. For example, let's see in a musical, okay, The Sound of Music, Lizzo, the eldest daughter of the Feng Trapp family, her love song would be like this. I am 16, going on 17. I know that I'm naive, right? And in the Beijing Opera, the Princess Chai will express her emotion more indirectly, like this. 不惜满归返落日，而忽美眷。 You see the difference? Or she says that I really want to be a civilian girl. I don't want to be a princess. Third, about ancient China. Its 1,400 pieces of works are mostly adapted from the folklore, from the classic literature, historical events, etc. It promotes the value of love, of faith, loyalty, brave, among all the good things. The audience could be very familiar with the synopsis, like the Monkey King, they're very familiar what's happening, but they still come back to the theater to appreciate the workmanship, to sing along with the performer, or just to be a critical observer, saying, I can do better than you. But let me stop here to recap. The Beijing Opera is a synthesis of singing, dancing, comeback, recitation. It's an Oriental theater form that is highly conventional, suggestive, and symbolic. The art that we want to keep a UNESCO registered intangible cultural heritage of humanity. In the transition to the modern society, this beautiful art form is declining, not only because of the availability of other entertainment, but because of the Beijing Opera's own limitation to depict contemporary lives. For example, nowadays, military action is more computerized by clicking the mouse, right? Than the old time the hero fighting with his enemy, riding a horse with a blade in his hand. So how to design a mouse movement in line with the Beijing Opera's convention is really challenging for us. Still, Beijing Opera is a beauty to behold, and I believe pursuit of beautiful things is human nature, regardless of your ethnic origin and nationality. That's why we, DC Beauty of Beijing Opera, we are here to provide bilingual workshops and performance to audiences, to communities like this, that we can contribute to slow down the decline of this beautiful art. Once again, let me thank the Confucius Institute and Columbia College of the George Washington University for giving us the opportunity discovering Beijing Opera with so many new friends here today. My sincerest thanks goes to Tao Ran and Molly and Josh, who contacted me and make excellent arrangement to make this happen. Thank you very much. So our demo performance will begin now. I'm going to ask our band to appear on the stage and some help to move this podium away. But I warned you, because at the end of the 6 demos, I'm going to give you a quiz. Okay? If you pass, you can leave for home. Otherwise, you stay here. Thank you. Master Zhao Wenjing, who is helping with the chair, is the national first-class drum conductor. As you can see, the Beijing Opera Orchestra is a very small example of traditional Chinese music instrument, string, plucked music, string instrument, plucked music instrument, and percussion.
在
酒宴可餐七杯，
君以其杯，
百家百花亭。
在百家百花亭啊！